Divine mode, also known as God mode, that's what we're going to be looking at today. Now hopefully there isn't a problem with the sound. I've had a little bit of an issue with the sound today, so I'm hoping it's sorted now. Right, we'll start in the style room. That's your divine aspect there, whichever one you chose at the start. There's various ones that you would have picked, and various setups that you can't, there's not that much customization on it, to be honest. You get a few things you have. I mean, I've picked some of these up from events, can't remember what events, but I'm not sure what you'll have, but things like that just change your eyes, make them look cool like that. You can have red ones, or like that. I normally just stick with that because we've got green anyway. And you can have that, can't quite see it. Can't seem to pull out as well from the... That's a bit daft, hold on. Let's go back. There we go. But I never bother with those, they look a bit odd. It'd be nice if they made, like, not quite so large ones, like narrow ones. That one's slightly better. They're just so wide. And there's tattoos again, don't really use them because they look like lights more than tattoos. But if you like this sort of thing, there you go. You can have all that sort of goodness. I mean, that one's not too bad, it's just toned down a little bit. Okay, let's go to... Where are we going to go to? We need to go to here, the abilities. Now, divine abilities. These are your abilities. In fact, we'll come out, I'll show you these couple here first, if we just do this. When you're not in God mode, you can actually use a couple of the abilities. If you... Well, it's on the keyboard, it's out for PC. You will have those down there. When you're in battle, they'll light up. You can see that now. R is obviously to change into your God mode. But you've got two on the left there. One is a heal. Now people forget that heal quite often, and when you're fighting invasions or in group, that can save your life. It'll give you a small amount of heal in the middle of a fight. And the one on the right dispels any sort of effects that you get put on, like slowing effects. That would be more probably in PvP. I never really used that one, to be honest. Where are we? Here. Not there. There. So there you go. Restores 20% of your health. That can be enough, like I say, to save your life. And very useful. Although a lot of people seem to sort of overlook that one when in the game. And that removes effects for 3 seconds. Like I said, I'd almost never use that, because by the time you used it, it's pretty much finished anyway. Divine form tells you all about it there. If you want to read that, you can pause it or look in game yourself. But we're going to be looking at these. Now, each group of these will have these. I think they're actually... Yeah, the groups, I'm not sure which group together for all of these. I know things like the gunner and the outlaw and maybe the crier, not sure about the crier. The archer definitely. That'll have God's Fury. That is does quite a bit of damage, although it's better when it's buffed with this. So if you've got another player who can use that, and then you use that, and then you alternate. Alternatively, you can fire that one off yourself, which is like used in the Alchemist and a few others. I can't remember which ones they are now. I think the Lightminder maybe? Can't remember. You'll see when we go in anyway which ones get used by what. But if you use that first, then use that, it'll make that a lot stronger. But you have to do it quick. If you take too long, you'll lose that buff. But this will make you pretty much immune for a few seconds or shield it up. It's useful just to use as well. I mean, just when you're fighting, if you're playing as out. This one sort of pulls everything into the air. It's used by the Paladin. Might be used by the Knight. Not sure again, because I don't really play the Knight. But it's used by other ones. It's... To be honest, that was pretty useless. It doesn't really do a lot. It'll just hold off them firing you for a bit. It does a little bit of damage when they come down, but not a great deal. God's Might. This one I don't really use, to be honest. It's, again, it does damage and stuff, but it's just, I just never really seem to get around to using it. And God's Authority, that's the one that the witch uses again. I think the necromancer uses it. And kinetic maybe. Again, you'll see, it depends. You'll know which ones you've got when you're using certain classes. I know the ones I use for the classes I use. I just don't use all of these that often. And that is your, like I say, your special, which will come into play when you get to that final boss. In most instances, in any sort of levels that you're in God form, you'll probably want to use that. In fact, you'll probably use them through. They all have cooldowns. Now, the cooldowns do vary. I think they're sort of 2 to 3 minutes, most of them. I think this one's 2 minutes, something like that. But you'll see when you get in. So as long as you've got a 2 minute gap between your next boss, sometimes it's actually better just to hang out when you get to the boss. If you get there too quick, just wait for your things to charge up. But again, you can use these in group. Like I say, you can. This will buff a load of people around you. It all depends on your what do you call them? Your deeds. That's the word I was looking for. We go here. There's your deeds. So you have these here. Now you pick. I think you pick God of Travels. Is it God of Travels? One of these you pick up with a book. Can't remember which one. It might be just Junior God or something. Then you'll pick up from fragments when you kill the avatars, when you do the invasion missions. Obviously that'll be a big group thing you'll go into. When you get the fragments, you'll unlock these. And a lot of these will have effects on God mode, like here. Damage inflicted by shots and explosions of God's Fury is increased by 60% for each rank as bonus. And you will get it again there. And then this one you'll have your God's Army, which basically boosts your shields and protection for other people in further radiuses, that kind of thing. So they're all in here, the bits and pieces. You'll have to look at which ones. Most of them I think are actually in these first few. You see there's the God's Authority, 125 more damage, and it will make a big difference. And obviously, like I say, if you combine some of these God abilities with each other, they will be even stronger. We'll have a quick look at this. This is just you tend not to use. I mean, if you've got the what are they? These things, Victor's medals. If you've got the Victor's medals, then go ahead, use them. But I mean, I wouldn't waste Victor's medals on them if you don't need to. One of them gives you just extra 25% faith when you send your adepts, but the other ones, they help you. This one is Verdict. Now you wouldn't really use that more than that until you get into like the big invasions and you're fighting avatars, and then you kind of will use that sort of thing. You'd have to look at them yourselves. I don't really use them that much, to be honest. It's literally, if you get yourself in a tight situation and you're in God mode, just pop one of these and, you know, finish the job. Like I say, you'll have to read what it's all about, but it'll put a shield up on an extra shield, that kind of thing, for a certain amount of time. They do various things. Anyway, we are going to go into a mission, and we will have a look at the special powers kind of thing. We'll have a look at the God modes. Let me see what we're going to go to. Let me just check my quests in case there's no need to rush right now. It'd be a waste. Yeah, you can use them in that, but I think probably the best place to go, just a quick look, is that one. Might be an idea, or that one, or that one. Tell you what, let's go to this one. It's not somewhere I go that often, so we'll go in there, because there's like 4 bosses or something in here, so we can get through some of the their special ones. Okay, so we're gunner at the moment. So there you go, Gunner God. Close in a bit closer like that. Now you bring up the out button. I don't know what will be on the PS4, but and it will bring up all those down there. You can actually change God at any time. So we could just, well, just show you. We can just change to the witch. You do that, then you have to press it again, and then you pick whichever one. So you've got Cryomancer, Necromancer, Witch, and Kinetic, I think it is. So you can change in any of those, and every one of those, oops, do that again. If you hit it again, you'll cancel it if you come out of it. So you do that, then you hit, we'll take the Witch, number 3, and that. And as you can see, we're now the Witch, and their special there, bottom right, all those 4 will be that same one that we just saw. So what we'll do is we'll start a fight. Unfortunately, this is the much more difficult one that came out the other day, so take a few seconds to do some of these things. What I really want to do is sort of bring up the bosses, really. Just use that. Kill these ones, and the next ones we get will use ultimate on. Yep. Just get rid of this thing. Draw them onto the pad and then you can see the ultimate a little bit better. See, that one does that. Makes them float. Does that. Explodes again. It gets struck by lightning. Does some damage. It's not excessively powerful. Obviously, didn't kill these two gods, but it does do some damage and make a difference, especially if you throw in a few things like this at the same time while they're floating around. It gives you a chance to get some cheap shots off. Let me just clear these ones over here. Just going to change into Paladin. Get him in a minute. There's one. Right. Okay, now the boss is spawned in, so we will use the other ultimate. This is that one. It's like a black hole kind of thing. Basically just spins around, explodes, and as you can see, it barely does any damage. So I very rarely ever use it just because of that reason. It doesn't really do much at all. Although, like I say, we are on a tough one. I think this is 47 million or something like that. 56, not sure. Rated for this. One. So what we'll do is we will go into that one. And we will use Fury. Now Fury normally works better if you use an army with it, but we're going to just do it on its own. So we're at 16 and a half. And you can see that does a lot more damage. That is probably one of the best ones. And if you combine that with God's Army, which is the green one, use God's Army, then quickly switch to the gunner, fire that off, it will do massive damage. You probably would have killed it. Maybe not quite. We'll just get rid of this one. Right, on to the next bosses, or next animals. Won't take long to kill these ones. I can just do this. Okay. Boss there. What we're going to do on this one, we'll change to the elk. Like so. This is God's Army, so what I'm going to do with this one is you'll see me turn into, or go green, and then I'm going to use that hammer, which is the big E there, and you see the damage that will do. We'll start, we've got a boss there with 20 health, so here we go. Now we break out the hammer, and this does absolutely massive. There you go, I've still got the hammer. I mean, we've literally wiped that out within seconds. And that's how powerful using that combination is. You can use, like I say, switch to that and then switch to Fury, and that'll do massive damage as well, but I've found actually that using the hammer or the swords that you get like this do a lot more damage. We've got one more. We're just going to get rid of these. It'll take a second. Which is going to be the Berserker. Go. Right. So that will be. This is one I don't use very often as well. But you'll see it's the Zerker or Berserker. It's the Slayer, and the Monk uses this one. So we're going as the Berserker. That's the boss. And this one, basically I think it does a lot of fire damage to stop this one while you're fighting. It just adds some extra damage. But it's not one I really ever use. I only ever use it in sort of if I'm firing through all my God modes, trying to kill a big boss, and using everything I've got at the same time I ever use it. does a fair bit of damage on its own, but combine it with that armor. We will get this in a sec. Citizens dies. Maybe I should stand outside the acid. There we go. Right, what I'll do is I'm going to let the ultimates charge up. Then I'll show you the army with the fury. Right, we're fully charged. I've just killed off a few bits and pieces on this map. Bear in mind, this map Targo, you are on a timer if you want to get the S rank. You'll see it at the top right there. If you don't make that timer, you won't get the rank. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go army, then we're going to switch to gunner and go fury. So we can do it from here. So we can go, wait. So we go army, and we switch straight away to gunner. Just give me a sec because it will. There we go. Change to that, and then straight into fury. You can see it does a fair bit of damage. Now, when that explosion hits, if you've got a group here, they all take damage. Usually it'll annihilate all the small stuff around. As I say, you've got to bear in mind that this is either 47 or 56 millions level, so it's not going to take it down in one. Although some maps you'll hit things and literally wipe them out. See hammer stroke like this. Go. And that kind of sums up God mode. I mean, there's not really much to it. Hold on, we're being invaded by flowers. This is just for the Valentine event. These things come up, they should drop a green orb. There it is. Which will give you it gives you some crystally things, which then you can go and spend and get extra clothes or mounts or that sort of thing. So yeah, so like I say, that's kind of it for the gods. There's not a lot to it. Use them sparingly, because you do use faith when you use them. And when you start out, you're gonna, try and gather faith. It'll be a slow process. You will get it, but you don't want to go crazy with it. These are something I need to look at as well. You'll see here, this is the hammer. This is where you get, as you develop, you open all these up, you'll open all these up. These are like the bombs that explode. And another one, that one there's pain shot. That's when you see E come up sometimes, and I just hit it and it just does quite a bit of damage. And it stuns things. These are 3 new ones actually that they've added, but I believe you need fragments to get these. Don't hold me to that, but I believe it's fragments to get those. But to be honest, I don't really sort of, I'm not that bothered about them. I mean, this hammer, I'm alright with this hammer. So there you have it. That is your divine form.